Good evening. We'll call the meeting to order. Today is Monday, March 23rd. It's 5:30 p.m. and this is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Paris City Council. We'll move to the invocation and pledge of allegiance this evening. Invocation to be led by Brad Aldridge and the pledge of allegiance by Benny Plata. If you'll all please rise.
Let's pray together. Gracious Heavenly Father, we just pause perhaps at the end of a busy day to continue just another phase of it. And I thank you for these men and women who serve our community. And just pray for them as they seek the best interest of our city. Lord, give them wisdom. I pray for peace. I pray for patience and, Lord, all those things necessary to conduct business. And I pray that at the end of the night, Lord, progress made and things in the best interest of the citizens of our community. In the name of Christ, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item number 4, the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. If you'd like to speak, please come forward, sign in, state your name and address for the council, and we'll start your 2 minutes.
My name is James Price. I live at 1230 Shallow Street. You know, y'all know I had a minor stroke, so I'm looking to read my reputation for becoming Sister Road.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, I stand before you today to address our city charter. After extensive research, it has become apparent that we, the City of Paris, have been operating under a form of dictatorship. Now, I thought that word was a little harsh, so I looked it up, and it says a form of government where political authority is monopolized by a single person or political entity. This issue was brought to center stage for me because I was attempting to understand why Paris has had only 2 non-Anglo-Saxon leaders in the position of mayor and no women of any race. As I researched our charter, I found that our city council is solely responsible for choosing our mayor. Article 3, Section 16. I was especially interested in the 3rd paragraph, lines 7 and 8, which reads, in reference to our mayor, I quote, "Whom shall serve at the pleasure of the council." What happened to serving the people? I am suggesting the charter be amended to allow our citizens to choose for themselves. We are prepared to petition an amendment to our charter. However, we prefer to give the council the opportunity to do so. Our intent is to organize a commission of concerned citizens along with our city council leaders in order to review the charter at a later date and possibly make any future amendments together. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come forward? Mr. Banks?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ray Banks. Live at 3450 Robin Road, Paris, Texas. On your agenda tonight, item 12. Is that the nursing home that you're trying to bring into the city of Paris? If so, that nursing home purposely built outside of the city limits so they would not have to follow the city codes. By bringing them into the city, are they going to have to bring it up to code or what on that? Such as not only the building codes, but also curb and guttering and so forth. Are we going to have to, as citizens, taxpayers, pay that later on for them? Number 13, talking about the one-way traffic of streets in town. Has there been a traffic count done on these streets? If so, maybe it should be, to see if it's really warranted to need two-way traffic. Have the property owners on those streets been notified, and what are their views on this? Are there sufficient room on those streets to allow for two-way traffic and parking on those streets, such as down by the Christians in Action? They park a lot of times out in that street. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Banks. Anyone else wishing to speak in the citizens forum? Sorry.
Council, my name is Edwin Pickle. I live at 220 Johnson Woods Drive. I would like to invite all of the council, as well as interested participants in the back, to join us on April the 11th, which is a Saturday, from 7:30 till approximately 11 o'clock for the Keep Paris Beautiful Trash Off. Now, I sat up here last month and kept my mouth shut as people got up here and talked about Keep Paris Beautiful and what that was all about and all. And to be honest, most of those people that I heard talk about that, I'd never seen at a trash off or any other KPB activity. So I would encourage you as council members to set the example. And I would also ask those people out that see this on TV that thought it was important that we keep Paris Beautiful to show up and help us pick up trash. Thank you.
Thank you.
At Home Depot, I'm sorry, at Home Depot.
At
7:30, April 11th.
All right, anyone else wishing to speak in the citizens forum? If not, citizens forum is now closed. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Does any member of the council have any item they wish to discuss on the consent agenda?
I do.
And I do.
All right, we'll start. Dr. Hashmi.
Let me just get to that page first of all. If we can go to the PDC minutes. Janice, what page was it?
It's going to be close to page 18, not far after 18. I'm looking at
Okay.
it.
Page 22, Dr. Hopkins.
Okay. There's something which is just interesting, and that's what I wanted to point out, and that is when the PDC meeting was conducted. Let me just bring that straight. Having a hard time getting to the page.
Is that on page 37?
No, 17, 18. Planning and zoning. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Page 37 to 37.
37. I'm trying to bring it up for 33, 34, 35, 6, 30. It's the second meeting. The board members which are written present, Stephen Grubb, John Brockman, Rebecca Clifford, and Don Wilson. Rebecca Clifford, it says, joined at 9:04 a.m. Don Wilson joined at 9:07 a.m. And it also says Stephen Grubb, chairman, called the meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. and confirmed a quorum was present. I'm just curious, at 9:02, does two people meeting qualify a quorum?
No.
No, shouldn't. Where is this?
Yeah, it's on page 42.
So I'm just curious, how did they call a quorum at 9:02 when not the quorum was present.
Let me suggest that you take that off and just pass over it when you approve the rest of the agenda, and then we'll send that back to them and either
Okay.
correct it or explain it.
And I think there is one other issue that I had. At the last meeting, it was pointed out, I think that the revenue was increased to, I don't know the exact numbers, was 1.4, but it's written as 1.2, and it says it was written as 1.4, and then it was written as 1.2 million, it is increased. Either that's a typographical error or they have flipped the numbers, because from 1.4 to 1.2 is a decrease, not an increase.
On the PDC minutes, Dr.
Yes,
Oglesby?
yeah.
Okay, and is it?
I can give it to you later on if you
Okay,
want,
that
rather
would
than
be
keep the whole
great.
council waiting
Yes,
at
sir.
this time. Other than
Anything
that,
else?
no.
Okay, great. Mr. Pickle?
Okay, I'm going to get on my high horse again. First, I want to compliment Sue and Benny for attending their boards, commissions, or committee meetings. However, whoever serves on the library board.
I serve on the library board.
Okay, the Building and Standards Commission and the Historic Preservation Commission. If you serve on those boards, please go to those meetings, because we do represent, we are the liaison, and I mean, if we're gonna sign up to be on them, we need to be on them. And I'll do that every month.
All right.
Because I think it's important that we do a disservice to the boards, commissions, or committees if we don't make every effort to give them our time. And Vinny was at his, and Sue was at hers. So whoever's on the other ones, there you have it.
And I serve on two,
Well, but
and I've only missed,
no, I know, you were at these that I saw in here.
yeah,
So-
I've missed maybe one out of one of them and two out of the
Yeah,
other, in both
Well,
terms.
I was complimenting you
No,
on
I
these.
understood that,
Yeah.
just saying,
Okay,
thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Anything else, Mr. Pickle?
Not now.
Okay, great. Anyone else have anything to discuss on consent agenda? If
Oh,
not,
wait, I do have one other question, I'm sorry. Gene, and I didn't go through all of this mainly because I didn't get it till late yesterday afternoon, which was not y'all's fault. In here, it discusses that revenues were down or expenses were one of, anyway, somewhere, let me see if I can find it real quick. It talked about, okay, here, that said citywide expenses this year exceeded citywide revenues by $447,513 compared to $810,000 excess the previous year. And they say it was triggered by reduced revenues. My question is isn't that probably, or was that not triggered by the ice storm?
Yeah, we spent almost over $900,000 in unbudgeted funds for the ice storm.
So we would have had that number increased without the ice storm. Okay. Because I just read this and I thought, I don't think that's right. But
Well, if you look at citywide, you're combining all the funds, which includes grant funds and,
right.
Utilities fund.
and it's hard to look at that consolidated data, and see exactly why it dropped. And you can't just think about general fund or water and sewer fund.
Right.
Time you roll that other in there, you can have an unusual.
Well, and that's, I mean, I thought,
I
because
can show you how that's.
it says it was triggered by reduced revenues, but actually it was really triggered by the ice storm.
In the general fund, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and this is everything.
Right,
Yeah.
the
So
general
if
fund's
you-
the biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, my point was, when you put everything together, it can, there's something could be there that you can't see, obviously, without
Right.
breaking out back down. But I can show you how that's calculated. If you
No,
want to
no,
see
I
it.
just, my thought was it was really not so much the revenues were down, is the ice storm was up. Okay, thank you.
okay, any other items? If not, is there a motion to be made on this?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda, subject to the corrections from PEDC. Is that, just want to make sure that's stated right? Okay.
Yes.
Got a motion from Dr. Hashmi, a second from Mr. Pickle. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to item 12 on the regular agenda. Ms. Ellis.
Discuss and act on an ordinance providing for the extension of the boundary limits of the city of Paris, Texas, and the annexation of land consisting of 95.173 acres, more or less, including a portion of Stillhouse Road and 3 tracts of land east of Stillhouse Road and north of Stone Avenue in the R. Russell Survey, Lamar County, Texas, approving a service plan for the area, making other findings related to the subject, providing a repealer clause, a severability clause, a savings clause, a penalty clause, and providing an effective date.
All right.
This is the item that you've discussed on 3 previous occasions. There were 2 public hearings held, and as you recall, we had no public input at either of those public hearings. There are 3 parcels, one of which is the skilled nursing facility on Stillhouse Road. The other 2 are vacant areas, undeveloped areas. We already do have water and sewer available to those areas. We do, in fact, respond to police, fire, and EMS at the nursing facilities. So essentially, they've been getting municipal services for some time, but they've not been paying property taxes, and we think that's unfair to the rest of the taxpayers in the city. And so we have recommended annexation of this area. In response to Mr. Banks's questions, there would be no work done by the city to change the driveways or the culverts or anything like that, other than we will take over maintenance of a little piece of Stillhouse Road. Frankly, we're already maintaining that part of Stillhouse Road. It's a county road at this point there, but we've been maintaining it for quite a number of years anyway, so that won't change. As far as other types of codes, if there's some code that I can't think of anything off the top of my head that they would need to change. Typically, codes are grandfathered in unless it's a health and safety thing because they're inspected by the state. Typically, those things are more stringent than what we would have anyway as far as health and safety issues within that facility. So I don't think those are issues that we need to be concerned about at least now. But certainly, there's no expense to us as a result of this annexation.
Okay, thank you. And at this point, we'll open up any discussion from the council.
Just out of curiosity, let's say that curb and gutter, aren't they responsible? Aren't they going to be, if they had to have curb and gutter at some point, wouldn't they be charged for that?
Well, if you're going to build a new facility and it's an area that curb and gutter is required, you would have to do that. But you're not required to go back and put one in after you've already got a facility in place.
Okay,
So what they have is what they're going to have.
which is what communities got anyway.
Right.
Okay.
But just since Mr. Banks had mentioned that, isn't it true that there are other things in that which are out of code? Right?
I don't know what they would be.
Those buildings were not made in the city to begin with historically, partly because they didn't want to follow the city code.
Well,
Is that not correct?
Well, it was my understanding it was related to property tax more than anything.
Okay.
I believe the building, because again, in this case especially, it has to be inspected by the state, and they're pretty strict on their rules because of the type of clients that they have living there. So I don't think it's a dangerous facility or anything like that.
No, I'm not talking about a dangerous
No,
facility.
but I mean, that's the reason for building codes, is to ensure that you've got a safe structure.
Okay, and so we would not need to go back and do something ourselves and the city end up paying money for it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Besides the state, does the city inspect this facility in any way or form? That it conforms to, I mean, maybe fire code or I don't know, whatever else?
Yeah, not outside the city limits. That's another reason it would be good to have it, because part of the fire code, the fire marshal will go out and inspect it periodically to make sure that things are kept up.
Once it's inside?
Correct.
And if he finds it out of code, is it grandfathered into it?
Not if it's a fire safety issue. You know, if they don't have fire extinguishers, if they don't have a fire route, if the doors are locked, they're supposed to be unlocked, those are things that they're immediately responsible for repairing.
But they're not required to have, you know, what do you call these sprinklers, etc.?
I don't know if the state requires that or not. They would not be required to go back and put those in after the fact.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Ms. Lancaster?
Is there any plans to do something with Stillhouse Road? It's a really bad road.
Well, there's no specific plan for that, other than we will have an opportunity to do some additional maintenance on it that we have been hesitant to do since we didn't own the road in the past. I think we will do improvements, but there's nothing, no construction, but additional maintenance, you know, the periodic overcoating and stuff like that.
Any other discussion from the council? Is there a motion to be made on this item?
So moved.
Got a motion from Mr. Pickle, second from Mr. Plato. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Move on to item 13, Ms. Ellis.
Discuss and act on an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Paris, Texas, amending the traffic control map adopted in Section 31-65B of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paris to change traffic flow in 3rd Southwest from Bonham Street to West Sherman Street, Houston Street from 3rd Northwest to 6th Northeast, and Price Street from 3rd Northwest to 6th Northeast, from one-way to two-way streets for traffic flow, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, providing a repealer clause, a severability clause, a savings clause, and a penalty clause, and providing an effective date.
There are a total of 8 one-way streets in downtown. 2 of those are owned and operated and managed by the state of Texas, of course, and that's the highways that go east and west, north and south. The others are 1st and 2nd and 2nd again in Houston and Price. The Traffic Commission and the staff looked at 4 of these, 2nd, 3rd, Houston and Price. And the Traffic Commission recommended all 4 of those. I am hesitant to move forward on 2nd, Southwest, and Northwest for 2 reasons. One of those is what Mr. Banks mentioned. I think there's some areas there that are a little tight. Plus, I don't want to do all 4 streets at once. So on my recommendation, and we're not unanimous on this staff-wise, some people want to go ahead and move forward with it, but I have asked the city attorney not to include that in the ordinance that you have before you. And so we're recommending only Price, Houston, and 3rd Southwest, not 2nd Northwest or Southwest, at least at this time. The other 2 streets, of course, are 1st East and 2nd East that we've talked about. Those cross state highways and impact signals and so forth, and that's another issue for another agenda item one of these days maybe, but not on here. But anyway, we're recommending, or I'm recommending, 3 of the 4 streets the Traffic Commission be done now, and that we evaluate that, and then we may or may not consider 2nd, Northwest, Southwest, and maybe we do some of it, but not all of it, especially in the central area. It's pretty narrow through there. Just like Mr. Banks said. We have a couple or 3 months ago, we did notify property owners along there. We got responses only from 2 folks. They were not significant, and so we feel comfortable with moving forward with this and make that recommendation.
Can I address 3rd Street?
Sure.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to keep that noise from happening. Is that better? Yes. Okay. 3rd Street along the mirrors the 1st Street that you're concerned about how tight it is. That same tightness occurs in that one block. People park on either side, and then it's hard just to get one car down it. If you're putting 2 cars down it, that's almost impossible. That's also the street that we had a fatality on. A couple of months ago.
Okay. Well, and you know, by all means, these are significant changes because the pattern has been that way in a long place. You know, if the council feels comfortable just proceeding with Price and Houston. In fact, that was our original. We went to the Traffic Commission twice to give you the history of that. We were going to move forward on just Price and Houston first because I wanted to kind of go slow. Traffic Commission said, well, why don't we do all 4 of them at one time? And so they came back and added those 2 on there. But certainly we can, you know, I don't have a problem with waiting on that one too, along with 2nd.
I have had some people that live along that street contact me.
Probably good to wait then.
Thought that it was too tight.
Kind of like 2nd, it could be that we want to change some of it, but just not the whole length of it.
You know,
Because it's not all the same thing.
That one particular block is just particularly tight.
2nd's got 2 or 3 that are really tight. You know, we looked at 1st Street right here, east, and there's a few blocks there that I just don't think work at all either. And, you know, part of that is fire concerns, part of that's traffic, part of it's parking. So,
Right.
yeah, I think based on that, I would just suggest we just stick to Price and Houston for now, and we'll bring it back next month or next year or whenever is appropriate.
Dr. Oshby?
A couple of things. First, It says 360 feet of 300 block of Clarksville Street is 4-lane. Where is it 4-lane?
Right up against the side of the church. Now, that's the next agenda
And then you've
item.
got that
But
little-
literally up
It's
against the
not on
church.
this one, I'm sorry, did I?
No.
Third?
I'm sorry, I'll discuss it on the next. The second question that I have is, you may have sent out letters, but what about having a public hearing and let the people who are on those streets come and speak before you do it?
It's not a
Because
neighborhood.
we don't want to have a same
Went up
situation
and
come
went
up again,
between
that everyone comes back
telephone
complaining
pole
that
and
why did you
something
pass
else.
it? Or we didn't hear it, or some other, if we post it as a public hearing and people don't come and oppose it, then it'd be much easier to do it rather than, just decide and then have an issue, become a big issue for
Yeah,
later.
and certainly we can just table this till 2 weeks. It's not a hurry. Obviously, the streets have been this way for many, many, many years. One of the biggest arguments I've heard so far, ironically, was that they're that way because of the high school. I don't know what year the high school left downtown, but it's been a while. But still, people get used to a certain pattern, and it does make it, I think the majority of people on Price and Houston will prefer it because it'll be more convenient to them. But if we want to wait 2 weeks, we've been waiting for years and years, I don't think that's a problem at all. That can reduce the people saying, well, yeah, you sent us a letter, but we didn't get it, or we don't read the paper, or whatever the case may be, so.
Would we just, how do we let them know then that, is there
Just
gonna
put
be
it
a
in the-
public forum? Or?
Yeah, put it in the
Yeah, I
paper
mean, we'll put
that,
it in the paper and we could send letters. Again, there's not that many different property owners. We could resend letters and say, hey, if you want to come talk to the council, it's going to be acted on.
or even if you
Is
don't
it-
send letters, if you put it in the paper, it should.
That's true, yeah.
But I guess I'm confused on how, isn't that exactly what we've already done? If
Well, we
that's-
sent letters out to folks.
Right.
But, presumably, if they got their letters and they pay attention to the newspaper, and they had a problem, they would have come to tonight's meeting. But, everybody doesn't read certainly I don't, read the council agenda on the website or the newspaper. But, if I didn't work here, I wouldn't actually
Well,
do that. So, yeah, it's always that possibility.
I don't know,
I don't think it's a huge thing either way.
we just haven't, we've already sent out the letters once, and instead of more postage going out, and it's already been in the Paris News, and the agenda's been posted, and no one's spoken. How many calls did you get?
We got two.
Two?
It was back before the traffic commission met,
But I had calls.
and she said so.
I had
How many
calls.
calls did you have?
I had 4.
Just about that one street in particular?
Just
or-
that one block.
Right. So would you be comfortable eliminating Third Street for now? And, if obviously, if there's 4 for
Yeah,
that one street, that's kind of, that's a very
Eliminating it from
concentrated area.
this.
Yes.
Yes, I would.
But
The
keeping
others I
Price
don't
and
have
Houston-
any real problem with.
Is there, I don't know, in order to move forward, instead of just waiting 2 weeks, I just,
Well, it kind of suggests that word's gotten out, that you've been contacted by
Yeah.
your folks.
Yeah,
so
they've
that's
thought
a good
about
sign.
it, and then that accident occurred, and things happened.
yeah. And I actually drove, especially Price and Houston this weekend, and I can see the benefits of going ahead and making it.
Yeah,
two.
but that one is, I've not had any problems
Yeah.
contacting me with that.
Well, maybe the thing to do is if we can go ahead and approve Price and Houston, and then when we come back to second and third, then have more of a public meeting so we can actually talk about it and discuss it, because
Yeah.
there's some more issues there for sure on both of those. Like I said, we're not all in agreement on the staff, so I know everybody in town not in agreement on those.
Mhm.
Understand. Dr. Hoshman, would that be okay with you to?
That's fine, if we
Okay.
want to proceed with it. I just felt that, people should have an input, but if you feel that you
Well, I
can
don't
do
think
it-
anybody's taking public input for granted, so please don't take it that way. It's just a
No,
matter
no,
of.
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter really. I think if people had a choice of coming and saying, that's good enough. If you think that it's an urgent matter and you want to do it, I don't have any major objections to it.
Okay. Well, with that being said, is there any other discussion on this? Or would anyone like to make a motion on this item?
I'd like to make a motion, we go ahead and do Price and Houston Street and wait on the other ones.
Okay, got a motion from Mr. Plata. Is there a second?
Second.
from Ms. Lancaster. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 14.
Discuss and act on an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Paris, Texas, amending the traffic parking system adopted in Section 31-84 as it established in the traffic control map in Section 3165 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paris, Texas, removing the no-zone parking zone on the north side of Clarksville Street in the 300 block for approximately 360 feet up to the driveway on the east side of the First United Methodist Church, where the inside lane of traffic ends, to allow for parallel parking instead of a traffic lane, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, providing a repealer clause, a severability clause, a savings clause, a penalty clause, and providing an effective date.
This is the single large block on Clarksville that's immediately contiguous to First United Methodist Church, so it's on the south side of the church. And sometimes you don't even really notice it, but for some reason, right there, Clarksville is 4 lanes wide. It goes from 3 to, or I guess from 2 to 4, and then back to 3 again. That one lane, as near as anyone can tell, existed just as an access point into the Methodist Church, because that's the only place it goes. If you accidentally get into that, you go half a block and you realize, oh, I've got to get right back out unless I'm going to the Methodist Church. The Methodist Church does not believe it needs it for that purpose, for a turn lane. It's basically, it's a turn lane for the church at this point. So they have agreed to make that change. TxDOT has also agreed to make that change so that that would become a parallel parking lane as opposed to a traffic lane. Still be 3 lanes wide there. Besides providing some additional parking along that area, we think it also has the potential, at least, to maybe slow traffic down. Anytime you make traffic like that curve or go around things or see other things, it has that subliminal message to slow down and be careful. And that's one of the problems we have with downtown in some areas, is that people drive too fast. TxDOT's goal for the highways that go through town is to get traffic from point A to point B as quickly and as safely as possible. Ours is we want them to go slower. Our point A to point B, we like them to see some things along the way. Especially there's going to be a park there later on within the next year. There's going to be a park there, and another reason we want to be careful with traffic and also to provide for parking. So we recommend that change be made, and the Traffic Commission has recommended the same thing.
Okay, thank you, John. Any discussion from the council on this item?
I just have a question. Will there be, right now, everybody jogs.
Right.
So, except for those people that aren't paying attention and they keep going straight.
I've heard of a mirror doing that before. Not that one.
Well, he's not the one that drives slow through town either. Is there anything, I mean, if they do start parallel parking on that, is there anything to prevent somebody from getting rear-ended?
There's a specific paint scheme that's required for that sort of thing, so that you don't just think, oh, those are really slow-moving cars and run into them.
Okay.
Yes.
Because,
especially, again, because it's something new. And when you change things on roads that people have been doing for years and years and years, there's that huge potential for somebody making a mistake. And it'll be technically their fault because we're the ones that changed it. You know, we've still got some responsibility. So yeah, we'll make those things, and we'll also try to signify these changes to people, at least in the short term too, with flags and banners and whatever we need to do to get people's attention on those kinds of things.
okay.
And I'm going to repeat the same question now exactly. Where is this 4th lane on Clarksville?
It is right up against the Methodist Church as you're going right up here. When you get to 3rd Street, it begins right there. You know, you pull up at that intersection, at that light, and probably just a blur for you, but anyway.
I'll show you.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. You pull up at that light, and all along the side of the Methodist Church.
Yeah,
And it literally, it just turns into like the school they have, or the day school or nursery school or whatever, is the little art school. So it serves only the Methodist Church at this point.
Okay, and there was, I think, one other place, there's a...
Would you tell Randy also it's not Lamar Avenue?
Yeah, that was the other
I
thing.
kept thinking, and I drove past it and looked, and then there was the actual,
That was the other thing.
yeah, I'd do that. I was trying to help you.
Any other discussion from the council? No? Is there a motion to be made on this?
So moved.
Motion from Mr. Pickle, second from Dr. Grossnickel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 15.
Discuss and adopt a policy on council agenda preparation.
This is an item from 2 weeks ago. I did make some changes as we discussed at the last meeting. Also included in your packet a form that the council used to use a few years ago. And I think it might have been what Mr. Pickle was referring to at the last council meeting. I did not get any additional changes from council members, so the ones we talked about at the last meeting are the ones that are made, and so certainly again recommend approval, or if there are any changes additional to that you want me to make, let me know.
All right, any discussion?
I
Dr.
just
Hodgman?
want to say, I'm fine with it, but the only thing I will say is that where it says city council meeting on this date, you can put, you know, at the beginning of your paragraph, it says 2 weeks. See, at the beginning, it says two full weeks.
I didn't make that change, I was supposed to.
Okay.
Let's see, it
All
needs to be
On the form?
1 week.
Yeah, on the form, so that
or
needs
so
a
many
correction.
days, yeah.
Other than that,
And Janice,
Yeah.
this form was a Word document, so
Mhm.
would you send it to us in
I will.
Word?
I
So that
will.
I can just type it in?
I certainly will,
I don't like
and
it.
then at the next meeting, I'll bring you.
Because I can't read his writing anyway, so maybe he gets some.
I'll type it out.
Okay, any other discussion from the council? All right, and can I get a motion on this item? A motion from Dr. Hashmi, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Pickle, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries on that. Janice, item 16.
Appoint one member to the Building and Standards Commission to fill an unexpired term.
Mr. McFadden, that most of you know, has resigned from the BSC effective February the 9th. That term does not expire normally until June of next year, the end of June of next year. And so we have had one application at this point from Matthew Allen, and we recommend he be appointed to fill the unserved term of Mr. McFadden.
Okay, is there any discussion or?
I do want to point out one thing. On the city's website,
Yes,
when you pull it up, you can't read this.
you cannot read the form?
You cannot read the form.
Okay. I will
So
send an assistant
if somebody wants to read
immediately.
it on the city website about Mr. Allen, you could not read it. I mean, on our computers you can, on our
Okay.
laptop, on our, these things, whatever, iPads, you can, but not on the city website. You pull it up, it comes completely black.
Okay, I will take a look at that. Thank you for letting me know.
Any other discussion? If not, is there a motion made on this? A motion from Dr. Hashmi, second?
Yeah, move.
Second from Mr. Plata. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Which takes us to item 17.
Convene into executive session pursuant to Section 551071 of the Texas Government Code. Consultation with attorney to receive legal advice from the city attorney about pending or contemplating litigation and/or on matters in which the duty of an attorney to his client under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter as follows. Enterprise and reinvestment zones as related to Kimberly Clark and Paris Regional Medical Center North Skinner tax abatement.
And the time is now 6:09, and we will adjourn into executive session. 47, and we are back into open session. That's item 18. And as listed on the agenda, the council did receive legal advice from the city attorney. And at the next council meeting, there will be an agenda item for a public hearing regarding reinvestment zone for Kimberly Clark. Is that
Yes,
worded the way it should be?
yes.
All right. Anything else from the council? If not, we'll move to item.
What, oh,
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, just that there might be a potential for a quorum on April the 11th when everyone shows up for the trash off.
Is
Got
that, is that number nine, is that item 19?
I just want to cover
Thank you,
everybody's
Alan.
bases in case
Wait.
someone says, I don't want to be there because I might have a quorum.
Okay. Well, you can do that, and you can finish it off that night with the wine fest, so
That's true.
Don't worry,
I'm planning on it.
there you go.
don't worry about it, I'll get somebody for you.
Anyone else on item 19 for future items?
Yeah, just one quick announcement I want to make. One thing we're trying to do is improve our ADA accessibility in the community, and we'll talk about some of those things, some of them we've already done. One of the things that we are starting to offer now, this is not for electricity or anything like that, but we do have a number of people who have motorized wheelchairs in town, and so if any of those folks are ever out of electricity, low on battery power, we do now offer a service where they can, if they have a regular plug, they can plug in at one of the city's 3 fire stations to recharge their batteries to make sure they get home safely. So just wanted to announce that publicly.
Great. Thanks, John. That said, item 20,
So moved.
motion, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.